A rift between the White House and Benjamin Netanyahu's government is growing tonight. President Biden says the U.S. won't supply weapons for Israel to attack Rafah. The U.S. has already paused a shipment of roughly 3,500 bombs to Israel over concerns that they would be used in Gaza's most densely populated city. Our Ed O'Keefe joins us now from the White House with more. Ed, good to see you. So it appears that this divide between the White House and the Israeli government is growing. Let's take a listen to what the president had to say about this last night.
I made it clear that if they go into Rafah, they haven't gone into Rafah yet. If they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah, to deal with the cities, to deal with that problem.
All right, so Ed, we heard from the president there, but what's been the response from the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, and from lawmakers on Capitol Hill?
Well, Republicans are seeking more answers from the White House and claiming that this has potentially detrimental effects to Israel's ability to carry out its ongoing military operations against Hamas. The White House has been quick to point out one shipment of several hundred, if not a few thousand-plus pound bombs has been held up, and that's it. And that the president has pledged to continue providing what Israel needs for those military operations against Hamas, but has made clear he doesn't want these specific heavy bombs to be used in any kind of operation in Rafah specifically. So now he's essentially being much more specific about the use of these 2,500-pound bombs you see there, but otherwise, more broadly, says, look, we're going to, of course, continue to defend Israel or help Israel defend itself. What this has also exposed, though, Caitlin, is some real political divide within an already perilous coalition that Benjamin Netanyahu oversees. Two of his more hardline conservative members of his cabinet had some pretty explosive things to say about the president's decision, while others, including Benny Gantz, who's one of the more centrist members of that war cabinet, put out a statement later disavowing him and the government generally from the comments of those two other senior right-wing cabinet officials and made clear, look, the U.S. stood by Israel's side during its darkest hour, and the verbal attacks aimed at the U.S. made by some ministers are both irresponsible and distasteful and serve internal political considerations. He added later, I believe that the weapons shipments to Israel will continue, which is exactly what the White House said today. They will. But in this specific case, with those kinds of weapons, the president is expressing concern about them possibly being used in a forthcoming military operation should Israel decide to conduct one.
Yeah, of course, a lot of tricky politics here for both leaders, it seems. I do want to switch gears a little bit, Ed, and talk about kind of a politically adjacent story to the White House, because you have White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. His wife, Maggie Goodlander, has jumped into the New Hampshire House race. She's running for Congress. But I'm curious what you're hearing about that campaign, how it relates to Sullivan's possible role, given that he is in such a high-profile position at the White House.
Sure. Maggie Goodlander, a military veteran, someone who was an aide to Senators Joe Lieberman and John McCain back in the day, served in the Biden Justice Department and White House roles, has left those positions to go home to her native New Hampshire to run in the 2nd Congressional District. It's having itself a crowded primary as the sitting Congresswoman Annie Kuster is getting ready to retire. She announced her campaign today, and so we put it to the White House. Does this affect Jake Sullivan, her husband's role here at all? And the White House, on his behalf, made clear that this is his wife's campaign. He supports it, but she's going to run it. He's checked with the White House ethics lawyers. Sees no need to change the scope of his job, but will adhere to the Hatch Act, which, of course, is that federal law that bars government officials from participating in partisan activities. In other words, he'll do it on his free time when he's not worrying about the fate of the world. It means it's going to be a busy schedule for him in the next few months, certainly. It was long expected that Sullivan's wife would go home to run for this position because she had resigned her White House job earlier this year, late last year, when Custer announced that she was retiring. And it's also been known that both of them aspire to broader political office. And so here we go, and we'll see whether she is able to eke it out in this primary and possibly become a member of Congress next year.
Yeah, I can't imagine that Jake Sullivan has much free time to offer, but we shall see. Ed O'Keefe, thank you very much.